What's up, everybody? Tommy here, Math Productions. I also have off cam hanging out with me in the shop my wife Britt, and you see my little buddy Pon walking around on screen behind me, right? We had a whole lot of fun, a couple hours yesterday trying to build a load order to catch anybody up on our first stream back on the channel in a long time, right? We definitely. Oh man, I didn't have my phone muted. It was starting to do the playback. But so we tried to show how you can build a load order from start to finish with nothing to use as reference, just going through the creations page, finding the mods that you want to use, and trying to build a load order from scratch, right? And failed miserably, right? Not failed in the sense of the experience. We had a good time, right? In my opinion, at least, hanging out in the chat. There was tons of people there. We were having fun, just talking, telling stories. But where I tried to build a full load order, I got maybe like halfway at best and got super frustrated. Couldn't find the mods that I wanted to find, and I ended up ending the stream. And I posed a question on stream that I ended up just answering for myself. I said, would you guys want to see me try to just finish this on screen, or do you want me to just finish it off screen so that way the next time I get on a live stream we can get to something more productive, right? I decided that that would probably be the best route, and last night for several hours, because my game decided with the Wi-Fi, it did good, I thought, on the stream itself, right? Watching the playback, there was a couple times like it freeze froze, but on a single frame for myself, but it caught back up quick enough. I thought it did good. But when I tried to finish the load order, my wife can attest to it. Like, there were some mods that literally was like 20 minutes for it to download. It was insane. But we got through it, powered through it, finished the load order, and I posted it actually even on a community post that's available on the channel. I put that same community post in the description of the live stream from yesterday, so that if you were interested in seeing that full load order, it's available in writing. You don't have to worry about me scrolling too fast or anything like that. I know I do that at times. I speed up the videos even doing that. So in writing, super easy. You can go down the line and see all these mods. That's what we're going to do here. To start out with, I'm going to go into the creations page just to go down the load order. Will highlight some mods, where I have them, why I have them, but we're just going to do it quickly, just boom, 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 and then from there we're going to jump in to starting a new game. The screen went dark. There we go. So you see there's nothing to load. It's only new, and we're going to start a new playthrough. Thorgen and Ghost, I appreciate you guys both for being here. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys had a great day and have a good night planned. I guess for Ghost, it's still early evening for you. Thorgen, I think you're closer to my time. It's getting later for us. Thank you guys for being here with us, right? So, creations, load order. I'm going to try to get through this quickly, right? That's the whole idea. Boom, boom, boom. We start off with the framework mods. The ones that are, like I was saying yesterday in our analogy of a house, the framework mods are the piping that we're putting underground beneath the foundational mods, if that makes sense, right? So ammo framework by 510 Deshawn, we are going to use that one for sure. Companion dialogue, I don't think that I have any use for, but I like it for what I might want to use in the future. Into the Grindfield, It's Me, PolyB, they're the best for environmental mods in my opinion. All their mods, and it starts with this framework. The non-lethal framework, some Workbench frameworks, Ship Fender framework, Unity framework, all those framework mods we're putting at the top of the load order so that they load in first. From there, we're going to go to those foundational mods that I was talking about, the things that everything else is going to be built on top of or be built from. You have to have these foundational mods because they change mechanics enough that they need to be loaded in before the mods that you're going to stack on top of them, right? So that's going to be things like from Bag Clams, the Massive Fleet 200, from Corrodic, all the useful mods that I use, the useful Briggs, mess halls for the patch, the useful Morgues. Then we're going to go into like Shades Immersive Looting. I highly recommend Shades Immersive Looting. as well as I highly recommend from Bad Clams, again, the Elite Weapon and Armor Effects Overhaul. These are the types of mods, again, that are going to be the foundation above the piping, above the framework, before you get to the rest of your build. We're going to do TN's Clothing Perk Restored from Ghost Rider Underwater Diving. That's such a subtle mod that is fantastic. Being able to actually submerge your character in the abundance of bodies of water in the game, super clutch. You guys know I love utility mods, especially mods like that do things you don't think about otherwise until you're in a body of water and you're like, why is my dude only floating? I want the chambas oil or whatever in neon, but I can't get those giant ugly fish. I'm just floating here. So like being able to actually go under the surface, super cool. Now we're getting into some more, again, foundational still, but really big impact in the way the game plays. The better dynamic weather, Desolation POI Overhaul by AGD25. I cannot recommend that one enough. I think we can all agree, even if you're like me and you find it hard to find faults within the game itself, one fault for sure is the abundance of the derelict, clearly man-made POIs outside of the settled systems and in close proximity to each other removes that abundancy, and it makes them far more dispersed from each other. And the further out from the settled systems that you go, harder time you have finding those man-made type POIs. Oh, so I have to check it out. I'm in creations anyway. So Ghost Rider updated the Xenomaster mod to update 1.1.3. I do know from Ghost Discord that is specifically it adds in an icon, an actual custom icon for the prod, the Xenoprod, the CCD type prod. It's a modified axe, if you will, electric cattle prod type axe that has the ability of the CCD grenades, which are the Pokeballs, if you will, of Xenomaster. So not only can you chuck a Pokeball and catch the wild Xenos, but you can also use this really sweet bat and just pow, and you can catch them on impact, right? So we might have to go ahead and update that before we move on. Heck yeah, so moving on as well, and I'm gonna go bigger screen too. I just realized I'm still in my like stream starting screen. So let me give you guys a better view of what I'm talking about on screen. So from Desolation, we have Revelation, and then Take Your Time. Those are my two favorite quest modifying mods, if you will. And now we start moving into more gameplay type stuff, right? Still foundational type things, but we're also now getting into the actual framework of this load order, this building that we're building. We're adding in things like 10% ship registration fee from Ghost Rider, the Axe of Friends, cost of living, simple taxes. I love, if you don't necessarily think that it makes sense in play, that you can go 200M away from New Atlantis and start building an outpost right outside of New Atlantis without having to pay the United Colonies anything. For that, that's exactly what this mod addresses. Anywhere in the settled systems, you have to pay a registration fee, a tax if you will, to be able to actually build there without incurring a bounty or a tax or anything like that when you go to those settled systems. So like I've messed up before, and like when I first downloaded this mod, the playthrough I was doing, I was trying to base myself out of Aquila. I went to Androphon, which is in the Narian system, which is Freestar space, right? And I built an outpost. I didn't have enough credits to pay the registration fee, and I was like, it's no big deal, whatever. It was like 100K bounty. So I could not go to, I was like right at the beginning of the game, so I could not go to Aquila at any point until I paid that bounty. Really changed the way the game played, right? Something so simple. It's a fun thing that helps you use your abundance of credits that you're going to get throughout the throughout play. Gives you something worth it to spend those credits on. And at the same time, it can actually, you have to think about where you're building, because if you don't pay, you're going to get consequences, and that'll obviously change what's available to you in those moments. From there, craftable explosives, crew eats food, crew takes contraband. I talked about those last two yesterday specifically. Back to one of my favorites from Ghost Rider, Crowd Gun Fear. The reason that I love this mod, again, so like say you're standing in New Atlantis in the spaceport, you pull out your weapon and you just aim straight up in the air and you start popping off rounds. No one reacts in the vanilla game. None of the NPCs will react. If you hit one of those NPCs, sure, they'll react, but until you actually hit them, they have no mind to this crazy person that's just taking pop shots in the middle of a public space. Crowd gun fear directly addresses that, and if you do that same action in that same situation, now these same NPCs will understandably, expectedly react in terror to this crazy person shooting up in the air. They'll start yelling and running away from you. You're not going to incur a bounty or anything like that, which I appreciate that extra step wasn't necessarily added with this mod. Just the immersive aspect of having the NPC crowd characters react to your actions is super cool to me. It's a fantastic, subtle, but profound mod for what it actually gives you when you're talking about immersion in play. From there we're going down Galactic Junk Recycler. Absolutely love that. The Galactic Pawn Shop. I'm not gonna lie, I just really like Quarter Onion Games. They're super cool people. I've talked to a couple of them directly, and I really like the work that they do. I really like the way that they carry themselves within the communities. I have nothing negative to say about them. I've never used the actual the actual pawn shop terminal. It gives you a terminal, and there's like settings in the settings that it adds that adjusts what all you can do within the terminal. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can do different stuff like that with it. You can sell stuff, I guess, buying stuff, but I've actually, to be completely upfront, I've never actually used it. I built a bunch of them. In my last video that shows off the zoo that I made, there's one right there in the main walkway between the two Xeno pens or whatever. There is a Galactic Pawn Shop that's placed. I've just never used it. I just want to be upfront, I guess. Green and Gold, this is the banking mod that I chose in place of Star Finance. I used to champion Star Finance heavy. I still support the mod for sure. It has not necessarily been updated in a long time. I know that the mod author's been busy, that they've stated, I think I saw on Reddit. But Green and Gold came out of nowhere, and I think it's a fantastic banking mod. If you want to actually make GalBank purposeful for the player in the game, if you want to have a way that you can store, invest, save, build up your money with interest, Green and Gold, fantastic mod. Lady Ann, what's up? Thank you for saying hi in the chat. I appreciate you being here. Moving on, hide show, helmet, and suit switch. I used to use, if you've seen a bunch of the load orders that I've put up, I used to use the auto hide, the smart auto hide spacesuit, whatever. They literally put in the mod description they're no longer going to update that mod or maintain that mod or anything like that. It still works, but I honestly like this one. Instead of it just automatically toggling between if I'm showing my suit or if I'm just wearing my outfit, this gives you a control switch that your character, you can hold it like a weapon or whatever, and when you activate it, it'll allow you to basically remove your helmet and spacesuit if you're in a breathable atmosphere. You can click it again and put your suit back on if you're like role playing the armor aspect of your suit, depending on what you're going to go do. I really like that it puts it directly in your hands, like literally, you know what I'm saying? But it puts it in your hands when you want to show your suit versus not, and it makes it so it's literally just the click of a button. You don't have to go through a couple pause screens down your inventory, all that good stuff. Immersive food, AIO, I really like this. It adds in like real food brands in real life to replace food in the game. First time I actually noticed what it did, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really know what it did the first time I downloaded it. I just saw the word immersive and then the word food and the name of the mod, and so I was like, I want immersion mod, so I'm gonna go ahead and download this, and then I found a box of Raisin Bran cereal in game, and I was like, oh, that's what that mod does. Okay, so it gives you real food brands on some of the chunks. Is still there, that's unaffected obviously, but immersive food AIO is actually a super cool mod. The immersive landing ramps, I've done a video on that. I absolutely love it. Again, it gives you, just like the hide show suit, gives you a little control switch type thing that you can hold in your hand, and it toggles the ability to close or open your landing bay. I think that's super cool for immersion. Landing bay cargo access gives you a cargo bay access terminal in the landing bay of most landing bays that you can get for your ship. Legendary module recycler is one of the greatest mods that you can have for sure. It's by Jostris, I think I'm saying that right. But so a big thing that I don't like in the game is the repetitiveness of like similar legendary features on similar weapons, or even just without repetitiveness being a factor, just like not getting the legendary effects that you want on the weapons that you have, or vice versa, whatever. It's just this mod allows you at a terminal to remove dog sneeze, bless you buddy, but it allows you to remove the legendary effects from weapons, gear, etc., and then it puts them in their own like separate little equipment piece. And then in that same, or at a workbench, sorry, a weapon workbench, you can take those legendary effects and apply them to whatever weapon, whatever armor piece, whatever that you want. So say that you have a weapon that you're really comfortable with, you really like it, and then you got these other weapons that have these 3 legendary effects that like you would love it if they were on that one weapon that you really, really, really like. That's what this mod lets you do. You can remove those legendary effects from those other weapons that you care not for, and you can put them on that weapon that you do care for, and now you can have a truly legendary weapon literally built for you, by you. Excuse me, sorry. Bro, Ghost said in the chat that he managed to get 300 plus Xenopets in one outpost. That's insane. Did your computer explode, bro? If that worked, I'm definitely shooting for something like that. We're gonna definitely have an outpost that has a ridiculous amount of Xenos. I have to see that. I hope you have it on video because I really want to see that. Thorgen playing now. Oh, the Xenoprod icon works. That's clutch. That's super, super clutch. Alright, let's try to get through this here. I always say that I'm going to be faster than I am. To be fair, Britt's sitting over here. My wife was so right yesterday, right? So I told her I was going to stream like an hour and 20 minutes. That's it. And 2 hours and 20 minutes later, we finally finished the stream. And she was like, dude, I told you it was going to be like 2 hours or more or whatever. And then tonight, she was like, so how long do you think we're going to be out there streaming in the shop, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I don't know. It just depends on how quickly I get through talking about the load order. It'll be real quick. I'll just boom, boom, boom. I even said that at the beginning of the stream. I'm going to be quick, boom, boom, boom. And then I just ramble. But so we're going to get back to it. Legendary module recycler, though, Jostris. You should definitely get it. Even if you don't care about building or crafting things at the individual workbenches and stuff like that. Again, just for the idea of being able to build your best legendary weapon for your playstyle, that's super clutch to me. Lower your weapon. So I called this yesterday, the mod author, Fire W411. I'm not going to lie. On reflection, I think it's Firewall. I think that's what it's supposed to be. I think the 4 is in place of an A and it's Firewall. I don't know, but that's what I think. But lower your weapon, again, super cool. Instead of always having to walk around with your weapon drawn, looking like you're ready for action, you can have your weapon ready, so you are still ready for that action, but you're not walking right up to NPCs, pointing right at them, you know what I'm saying? I really like lower your mod for immersion. More brewable teas and coffees, Gamer 1984. I think this is a fantastic mod. Back to another one by Ghost, the multi-tool axe. It's a fantastic utility mod. More NPCs have routines and stores have schedules by flipping eggs. I talked about this one a little bit more in depth yesterday. It's a fantastic mod. Truly incredible for how it impacts immersion and how you have to think about what you're doing relative to the time of day it is where you're doing it. More NPCs have routines and stores have schedules is crazy cool. Really like that mod. Nova Transit System, super cool. Only reason I'm going to highlight it again, I know a lot of people like to try to role play with the idea that the Frontier is not their ship. And you can't do that, right? Like technically, because mechanically the Frontier is always going to be assigned as one of your ships. But what Nova Transit does is if you don't want to utilize the Frontier and you want to try to earn credits until you have the credits to be able to buy your own ship, Nova Transit system, you can see it on screen, the supported locations and Nova Transit coordinator placements. It gives you a transit system, paid transit system, I believe. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm hedging myself there. I have no idea if it's paid or if it's free. Obviously within the game the mod is free, but it gives you a transit system, so until you have your own ship you absolutely can still get to places like New Atlantis, Neon, Aquila, Sidonia, New Homestead, Garin, Hopetown, even the Red Mile. Super cool mod right there. The OG Tennessee, this is arguably like my third favorite mod period for the game. If Xenomaster and Old Bar's Outpost Recruitment Beacon, if those are my top two mods for sure back to back, number 3 is definitely TN's Realistic Oxygen Meter. I talk about it all the time. It's got its own video. I highly encourage everybody, definitely check out videos where I've talked about this mod and how it impacts the game. It is such a subtle mod. When you think about it, like on the surface, superficially, all it does is impact your oxygen meter, but it does so much more than that for how you have to approach the world of the game that we're playing, right? It's a fantastic mod. You should definitely check it out. It's free. Next one on the list is from the OG Tennessee. It's not free. It's worth it though. It's TN's Targeting HUD. If you are a fan of the Fallout franchise, then hopefully you're familiar within the power armor, the perk, not perk I guess, but the feature, effect, whatever. Within power armor you can put a targeting HUD on it and it highlights, it makes glow your enemies out in the field, everybody out in the field, so you can see all, but it makes it easy to differentiate between friend and foe. TN's Targeting HUD allows you the ability to craft that feature on your space helmet, right? Super cool mod. TN's Waste Management, talked about this one yesterday. I think it's TN's newest mod. Definitely excited to check it out. It literally allows you to clean up the waste at the different POIs that you're taking over, at your ship if it's attacked, outpost if it's attacked, whatever. Super cool mod. TN's Galactic Harvest is currently the most expensive paid mod that I have on the load order. It does cost 800 credits. It is absolutely worth it with the abundance of content that it adds. I recently did a mod review video just highlighting superficial things about the mod that you can build, but all the things that you can craft, that you can harvest, it's crazy deep. It's a huge mod. Its cost it still pales to what it brings to the game. After that, because you have to have Galactic Harvest first, but Noel's Greenhouse by Sweet Pea 704, it just adds parts of TN's Galactic Harvest into the lodge. It changes up a little bit of the aesthetic, adding in more of the plants that are added by TN's or TG's Galactic Harvest, but it also gives you some of the workstations added by Galactic Harvest in the basement of the lodge. It's very well done. It looks very much in lore. It looks very much like not a mod, like it's just actually part of the game. It's very well done. Bedlam Dungeon Randomizer by AGD25. Only real main reason straight up that I like this mod is because it gives some of the enemies at POIs that you can explore through little Xenopets. Why would I not get that, right? I'm rolling around always with my own Xenopet, and I want more Xenos to be active in the game. I swear one day I'm going to learn how to make mods just so I can make a little hippie version of me with a little Xeno buddy that just roams around the game, and if you randomly encounter him, he like gives you something. I don't know. I'm gonna figure out how to do it. Like, mark my words, I'm gonna figure out how to do it, and I'm gonna make it happen. And you can have a little hippie space dude named Clyde that looks like me and gives you something if you encounter him. I'm gonna figure it out. But Bedlam gives again those enemies at POIs, not all of them, but some of them, little Xeno creatures. It does a whole lot more than that. I honestly don't care what else it does other than that. That's the only reason that I include this mod. Oh, you do have it in recording. Yes, Ghost said he does have footage of the multiple hundred Xenos in the Outpost, and I definitely can't wait to see that. So if you haven't noted, obviously I didn't note it, but we just transitioned from those foundational structural type mods for the build. Now we're going to things that impact POI specifically, is what I'm trying to do here. So Forgotten Frontiers POI expansion by Mad Monkey 119. I absolutely love it. They're huge. The POIs are insanely huge that you can find. There are tons of enemies, which means tons of loot, which means it's absolutely a big return on investment, even with the added size and time that it takes to clear. Forgotten Frontiers is super cool. And if you haven't seen the video I did on the channel on this mod specifically, it is a paid mod. I think it's absolutely reasonable. I think it's, if I recall correctly, like 500 credits for this mod. But if you haven't seen the video, if you have seen the video, but either way, so like literally what sold me on this mod is just seeing Mad Monkey interacting with people in the community on Reddit. There was a bunch of people we all know. If you've been on any Reddit subreddit for the game and the topic of paid mods comes up, paid mods are not looked at super kindly more often than not. And people were saying not the most supportive things. Not everybody. A lot of people were supportive, but some people were being combative. And the composure that Mad Monkey carried themselves with, I commented on the thread, like, solely because of how you've carried yourself in response to this adversity, I am absolutely getting this mod, and I am absolutely going to do a review of this mod on the channel. We're going to see how it goes. And I'm super glad that I did, because it's a fantastic mod. The Den under new management, it's Sweet Pea 704 again from Noel's Greenhouse, just like Noel's Greenhouse, but not for the Galactic Harvest stuff. It updates and redoes the layout and the look, things that are available to the player at the Den, and it's a super cool mod. I honestly haven't tried it yet. I've seen it, but I haven't tried it personally. I'm super excited to see what that's about. Now we're getting into our weapon mods. And we're starting out with Zone 79's Melee Madness, and then again Quarter Onion Games Modular Arsenal, and then we're getting into a chunk from 510 to Sean, the Project Warfare Hardened Edition, the add-on pack 1, and then we have the ammo framework patch. That's all I added on this load order when it comes to the weapons. Now we're going into apparel, starting it out with X2357's Content Creator Appreciation Hat Skins, back to 510 with the Atlas Clothing Advanced Techwear. In the past, I've used a ton more of 510's clothing mods, but in this load order, instead of going heavy with spacesuits, I went more heavy with replacers from Zone. That's what we're going to get into next. The Starfield Spacer Overhaul, Zone 79's clothing pack. I did just do the standalone on this one, but then the Crimson X, the Ecliptic Mercenary Replacer, EIT Clothiers Plus, the Varun Spacesuit Replacer Green, and Varun X. All of those are by Zone 79. Zone 79 is the GOAT when it comes to apparel mods. As much as I absolutely love everything that 510 Deshawn does, I look at 510 as more than just an apparel mod, and I know that Zone is so much more than that. But like, if you were to just ask me, best for apparel, Zone. If you were to ask me just straight up, what's Zone the best at? Apparel. Like, in my head, apparel mods and Zone 79 are just tied together. And all those on screen are fantastic. They replace all the ones that say replacer. They replace that faction's look entirely with these new outfits. They're fantastic. The only vehicle mod that I'm using is from Zone 79. It's the Grav 79. It is a paid mod. It's my favorite land vehicle. It's not a land vehicle really, because it hovers. You can basically fly with it. But I love the Grav 79. I think it's a fantastic vehicle. Now we're getting into my Outpost mods. So there are two sections, three kind of subsections within my Outpost mods. The top ones are going to be kind of like a mini version of the overall load order in the way that we're building it. So these are the things that everything else is going to be built on top of. That's going to be things like TN's outpost storage, Bard's outpost recruitment beacon, better outpost radius by Stack GX. This one is super clutch. Literally all it does increases the area, the buildable area of your outpost from 150 to 250. It doesn't make it super huge. It doesn't crash the game with how much more you can add. It just gives you that enough little extra space that just makes it a little bit easier to build big builds if that's what you like building. Build and decorate anywhere. LGB She, this mod I've talked about a ton, and it literally lets you do what it literally says in the title. It gives you 2 apparel rings, one for building, one for decorating, as in the build menu or the decorate menu, and anywhere that you put on that ring, a terminal will pop up and you can build or decorate right there, anywhere. Builder by Naruk, if I'm saying that correctly. I love this mod. Literally the only reason I use it, nothing to do with the clipping or anything like that it allows me to do. I don't do a bunch of clipping. To be fair, the decorative clipping is clutch, but like clipping halves, I don't do that anyway, but it removes the build limit. So I've had people ask me before how I can build so much stuff without like getting capped by the build limit. This mod specifically, Builder, again, it does a ton of other stuff. It's literally like an afterthought, the fact that it removes the build limit with the other things that it does, but I literally don't care about anything else that this mod does. The only thing that I use it for is to remove the build limit so I can build as much of whatever I want. Star Gem, one more rep. I just really like how this one adds in functionality within the perks for the weightlifting stuff that I can build at my outposts. That's the top section of the outpost section. Now we're getting into where I just go to my heavy hitters, if you will, and I just click on view more by author and I download everything alphabetical from that mod maker before I move on to the next mod maker. So this whole first section, again, it's alphabetical. Betamax 76, literally one of the best modders in the game. When it comes to Outposts, this person, you'll see it just in the number of mods from Betamax that I have compared to the number of mods for other people. Betamax, so many other people they've carried their own weight in changing the game in regards to what you can do with outpost building, but Betamax is still in a category by themselves. I've talked about that before. You see it right here. The outpost framework, the ammo bench, the functional decor, the better outpost tabs with doors, the Chunks franchise kit, more consoles and DJ booths, more manufacturing and item sorting, sleep crate building kit, tower hab 2, trade crate. Every single one of those is Betamax 76. Betamax 76 is incredible for this game. If you like outpost building and you have not heard about Betamax 76, let me be the one to tell you that you have no idea how much better your enjoyment with outpost building is about to become once you download all of those mods that I just said you should download. Not as in like, hey, if you were thinking about it, no, like if you're into outpost building, you should absolutely download all of those mods, and you'll be kicking yourself if you don't. Next up, alphabetical from Betamax, we have Downfall Nemesis. We're going to grab Nem's Deco Pack as well as Nem's Functional Coffee and Tea Brewers. Both of those super clutch. When it comes to decor mods, I always add Clutter V2 because it adds some pieces that I really love for the like outside on the ground type clutter, like the big storage type bundles that you're familiar with seeing in my builds and stuff. But Nem's Deco Pack for interiors, I don't want to build or decorate without it. It's so far beyond anything else and giving you just pre-decorated pieces that make sense in a bunch of different styles and aesthetics. Nem's Deco Pack is crazy awesome. And Functional Coffee and Tea Brewers, I don't like tea, but I do love coffee. The older I get, I love coffee more and more and more. and this makes the coffee machines in the game functional, so obviously I want that in my game. Outpost tabs expanded is also Downfall Nemesis. I did not add, they have another one, it's Outpost tabs expanded with color variations. I didn't add the color variations one. I would not discourage anybody from doing so. More options is always awesome, but the only one that I have on this load order here is the basic Outpost tabs expanded. It adds in like Aquila style habs and like some really cool sciencey looking habs. It's a super cool mod, again by Downfall Nemesis. Simple digipick crafting, no lie, doesn't need to go in the Outpost section. That probably needs to go higher up on the load order. I had never seen it until I was on Downfall Nemesis's More by Author page when I was going through the load order at this point specifically right here. And as soon as I saw it, I added it. It's fine enough where it is. It's not going to conflict with anything else, so I don't care. But it allows you to actually craft digipicks, which for me, hugely clutch, because I, for whatever reason, can never seem to find them, can never find a vendor that sells them. And I definitely have before in the past allowed myself to spawn in for myself like 5 digipicks because I needed one for a mission. I think it was when I was doing the Ryusian quest line, and I was going through one of the final levels in the Ryusian quest line, and I didn't want to have to try to like attack anybody. I wanted to be stealthy, but I literally had no digipicks, and I could not find at any of the vendors in Neon anybody selling digipicks, so I just spawned some in for myself. Funny thing about that, go back and watch the end of the Ryusian quest line from several playthroughs ago, and I didn't even end up using any digipicks because Simeon, my faithful partner who listens when I told him to stay in the hallway, didn't stay in the hallway, started shooting at people, so my cover was blown off tops. I didn't even use any digipicks. I felt horrible. That's why I'm literally getting it off my chest right now, that I allowed myself to give myself digipicks that I didn't earn in the game so I could do the level, and then I didn't even need them. But this mod by Downfall Nemesis, again, allows you with perks, Security 1, Special Projects 1, you can craft your own digipicks on your ship, at your outpost, whatever. Now we're down to Miss O and Better Buildable Walls and Doors Volume 1. I have so many videos talking about this. Absolutely love that mod. Same as Invisible Workbenches and Crew Stations. That is a fantastic mod that does exactly what it says. And Modular Outpost Argos Extractors. I use that more and more with each build that I do, and I absolutely love it. I was telling Britt, I was telling her the other day, like literally as much as I love like decorating the interior of my builds, I know that a lot of people don't. Like they're fine with just building the overall look or whatever, but they don't want to do the meticulous decorating. That's where somebody like Downfall Nemesis comes in clutch. But also Miss O, if you want like a furnished, pre-decorated, it's looks lived in, it feels lived in, it's functional, and it's ready to go, it looks good. Miss O's work with the Modular Outpost Argos Extractors. They're Argos themed tabs, but they are so good. They look so good. They're, like I said, fully furnished, fully decorated, everything. I highly encourage anybody that doesn't want, and then with this mod you can get empty versions too. So like if you're like me and you want to be able to do the decorating yourself, you can get the habs themselves and still decorate it yourself. But if you don't want to decorate it yourself, those versions in here are incredibly well done. Catching up a little bit, I'm sorry. Yeah, bro, Thorjan, that's how I get past the build limit without commands, like you do it. I'm so jealous, bro. One day I'm gonna have a good PC, right? But so yeah, that's how you do it. The builder mod is how you bypass the build limit. If you're like me on console, builder will remove the build limit so you can build whatever you want. Betamax 76, Wicked, Willie, Holy Trinity Outpost builds. I'm not mad at you. I won't argue with you. Those three are all fantastic. You already know both of them are about to have sections coming up in a second. Since we're going alphabetically, that W is definitely, or the S and then the W are both coming up. And Right 76 is so good. Josh, hello. Thank you for being here, my friend. And Spark, what's up, brother? I appreciate you being here, brother. Bro, go, so I'm not even gonna lie. I might have been trying. Excuse me. I might have been trying to plant a seed with you when I mentioned it before, but I planted the seed in myself and then it just grew. Like, yes, like I want to be like the literal in-game ambassador for Xenomaster. Like, picture it, bro. I'm telling you, a little hippie me and pro bono, the likeness, the voice. I'll get together the lines. I just want him to be laid back, happy. And if you encounter him, maybe he gives you like some CCDs, or maybe he gives you like your own little roach buddy or something like that, and sends you on your way. Like pro bono, and I want you to make it paid, and I want you to get paid for it. And I will talk about it all day, not taking a penny from it. I want to see myself in the game. That's what I want to happen. So I just put it all out there, like live. That's what I want to happen. I'll figure out how to make it happen, but dude, if we can do it together, I want that to happen. Let's finish this up though. Mills builds, Outpost Garage and Invisible Landing Pad, and Scrappy Structures 2.0. Literally those two mods are when I talk about my Mount Rushmore of Outpost modders, and I put Mills builds up there with the likes, and when I say with the likes of, I'm talking about when you're talking about how prolific other creators of this caliber are. Betamax, Something Wicked, like these people have more than just two mods that I'm using on my load order. Mills Builds has two, but the Invisible Landing Pad is revolutionary for me in the way that I build my outposts. I know that other mods, Something Wicked has some now that are really, really cool, that'll allow me to land my ship on the ground, and whether it's a centerpiece of an outpost build or somewhere to the side. But that all started from Mills Builds with this Invisible Landing Pad. That's literally what started it, and so that will always be on my load order. And Scrappy Structures, the buildings that adds, when I get to Ravageron and I talk about their Scavenge It Yourself buildings and how much I love those, the aesthetic is just an evolution for me from what I used to do in my builds, specifically because of the buildings that are added through Scrappy Structures 2.0. A lot of my earlier builds would not at all look the way that they did if I did not have structures available through Scrappy Structures 2.0. Now we're down to Something Wicked, the entire of Wicked Workshop mods. You should get every single one of them. Outpost Project 2, Industrial Complex, Fortified, Structured, Fielded, and Shattered. All of them. It's I have so many videos on it. I'm trying to get through this. I'm getting long-winded already again, where I'm trying to rush through this and I'm not rushing through this. Tons of videos on Something Wicked's work. Please, everybody, go back and look at it. I'm honored by Something Wicked in the Fortified, if I remember correctly, mod. There is a Tommy gun. I think in that same mod, Thorgen has a laser turret named after him as well. Something Wicked is something special within the community for sure. I know they're busy, and hopefully they make a return at some point. Their work is incredible. Now we're at Ravageron, that Scavenge It Yourself mod. I absolutely love that mod. 19 rundown makeshift outpost house, and it looks incredible. Also by Ravageron, some outpost objects. It just gives me some different outside objects, planners, a generator that I really like that aren't actually assets that are really available in any other mods. So both of those mods by Ravageron, definitely worth it. And then I added this one. I've used it before, haven't used it a lot recently. I wanted to put it back on. It's the Tiny Reasons to Scavenge. It just adds some unmarked scavenging themed structures out in the world where you can find different things of loot, resources, whatever. Now we're down to Will and Y4. I'm a huge fan of them. I've learned so much from Will and Y4's channels and their videos on manufacturing and the logistics of the manufacturing. He has huge builds for manufacturing and processing, and then he built all these buyers. So that way, if you do like him and you build a ton of manufacturing plants and you're manufacturing a bunch of goods, you now have a way at your outpost to be able to make credits for everything, right, that you're building. So we have the Will and Y4 resource buyer, the ammo buyer, the chem buyer, the finished goods buyer, the food buyer, the meds buyer, every buyer that is available by Will and Y4 I absolutely have on this load order. Now we're in the last section of my Outpost mods, which is just Outpost mods that I absolutely enjoy, recommend, encourage, but are not from those main mod authors that we just went through, but available vendors by Princess Melly, Cozy Camping by, I think it's Karu Satao, I don't know. Here's that Clutter V2, Scully's Emporium by Scully and Bones. I'm a huge fan of Scully's work. They used to be crazy active all the time on Reddit, super available to talk to the community about what they were doing, and I always respect when a creator is willing to stand in the fire and talk and engage directly with the community, knowing that not everyone is going to be the most supportive. I definitely always respect that. So Scully's always had my respect for that. Last one's here, bookshelf displays enhanced, item displays enhanced, weapon displays enhanced, all addict. I love these. They're empty, decorative display type, excuse me, display type pieces, but you can then actually interact with the inventory of those pieces. You can store your items and such or whatever in those pieces, and then they become visible on those displays. Those are really, really cool pieces. Matt Guyver's Outpost production posters, and then zoologist artwork. Love what those add visually to your Outpost building. The last section of mods now. We are finally down towards the end. The last section of mods is just the things that I do not want to be in jeopardy of being overrode, so I want to put them as low as I can in the load order to make sure that they're loaded the last, to hopefully make sure that they will always load properly. So starting it out with Zone 79, Starfield, billboards, and posters. And then we go on to roleplay backgrounds, basement dweller material starter bundles, then the cheat terminal, SKK's Outpost Attack Manager, SKK's Fast Start New Game, the Sit and Wait Anywhere mod by Aurelianus, The Gang Is All Here, again by Aurelianus, back to Ghost Rider. This is going to be the main chunk of the Xenomaster mods. It's the Carpet Walker naming and Achilles keyword vanilla fix, Xenomaster DLC support, Xenomaster add-on, Trade Authority can sell Xenomaster items. There is also one that allows it so the Mysterious Captain can sell those same items. You guys know how often I get to a new game, plus it happens all the time, right? That's the only reason I don't add. If you notice in my load orders, I never have any mods that are specific to New Game Plus experiences. Ghost Rider's got them, Betamax has them. I've gone to the Unity twice, and almost going on a year and a half, 2 years this game's been out. Twice have I gone to the Unity. I'm always feeling proud of myself if I get to level 15 before I restart again. So I don't have anything that has to do with Unity type aspects normally. But after the Xenomaster stuff, now we're getting into my actual like quest add-on type mods at Hell's Gate, and then Ghost Tameable Creatures patch for the creatures from at Hell's Gate. I really like J. Ramos Works, and their Ramtech AI, the prologue, is a fantastically done quest mod. Gives you a bunch of cool stuff, including a really cool robot companion, and I really, really like that mod. Definitely going to use that in the next playthrough we do. Here we're going to put our environmental mods. If you hadn't noticed yet, a lot of times I put them higher up in the load order. I'm going to play around a little bit and see how it goes putting them now lower in the load order with this load order. But we have the all DLC patch before the denser animal and scannable flora, and then the just random vegetation, rocks, and exotic sizes. Love all those mods. It's Me Polybeat does a fantastic job with the environmental mods. Again, I cannot encourage you enough to just go to their More by Author page and look at everything there. This is a paid mod, Starfield Compendium, but in my opinion, it's so worth it. It gives you a literal compendium for all the planets, moons, resources, everything within the game that you might want to know. Where can I find this? That's what this adds with pictures. It's super easy to use the filter features. If you wanted something where if you were like, what planet have I not been to that has copper and aluminum and a breathable atmosphere, Starfield Compendium will allow you to filter for most of those things and then toggle through to find exactly what you're looking for. Starfield Compendium is a great mod. I love the Praxis UI inventory mod by FS Novask, I don't know, but I think it is really clean. I really like the look of it. It gives you extra information within your inventory screens that is beneficial and useful to have available to you. I really encourage Praxis UI for the inventory screen UI adjustment. Only 2 lighting mods I use. I really like Rabbit's lighting mods, all of them for every location. They are all really cool. They look really good. Like, they're really well done. I just didn't want to put them all in this load order. I am though still going to add in from Boss Dragon the ship exterior true illumination, and again from Boss Dragon the sensible outpost lighting. It adjusts the lighting on your ship as well as the lighting at your outposts. It makes them more impactful for the player in the game, the user playing the game. Those are both very worth it lighting mods. Back to zone for the Starfield crowd overhaul before the crowd faces add-on. I absolutely encourage both of these. These are literally, so I had considered, my wife and I were playing the game a couple nights ago with no mods, and we were just showing off the beginning of the game, going through that opening cinematic screen, the tutorial levels again. She really wanted to see the character creation and play around with character creation more. But I told her when we finally got after that tutorial level, when we were on Crete, we made it through the dungeon, all that, and then we get to New Atlantis, and as we're walking through, it just hit me. I was like, man, again, I talk about it all the time in videos. For me, the sign of a good mod is when you're playing with it, you forget that it's a mod. Like, you just assume it's part of the game. This is normal. This is the way it always looks. This is the way it always acts. And then when you're not playing with that mod, you immediately recognize something is different and I don't like it. And not that it's bad, it's just not as good as it was. And that is the crowd overhaul for me. When I walk through New Atlantis or Aquila or Neon and I don't have this mod, it is glaringly obvious to me that I am missing some sort of added visual immersion that takes the game to the next level. And this is one of those mods. Not only all the replacers for what they're all wearing and looking like within the factions, but the actual NPC colonists within the cities. Starfield Crowd Overhaul is a paid mod, but it is so worth it for what it does visually, aesthetically for the game, and making people look like the outfits are tailored to the aesthetics of these specifically themed locations throughout the settled system. Starfield Crowd Overhaul is super, super cool, and the faces add-on changes the faces as well as the outfits, right? Or with the outfits. Lastly, from Zone here, I think it's the last one from them, Starfield Hair and Beards. That's for your character creation. That gives you a bunch more options for hairstyle and facial hairstyles for your character that you're creating. Last but not least, by Will and Y4, I think he's got it set so this mod will always go to the bottom of your load order, but because it always does, no matter what, it stays at the bottom. You add a new mod, it shows up right above it. So domesticate all flora and fauna, I've talked about it before, that's the mod I use, so I only have to scan one plant or one animal, and I 100% scan that creature for the sake of doing like a botany facility or like an animal husbandry. You have to have 100% scanned those flora or fauna to be able to actually like build those and use those. that's what this mod does to expedite that process for me. But that is the entire load order. It's 11.21 gigabytes. On console, you do have 100 gigabytes available. I didn't count through all these mods. I'm confident it's over 100, but I'm not sure how much more potentially. But it's a good sized load order that covers most all aspects of play. Admittedly, there's a couple Outpost mods that I thought of after the fact that I didn't add. I might add those at some point. I don't have any ship building or ship modifying or ship in general type mods. We might download those and add those to the load order at some point. But this is the load order that we're going to start our next playthrough series with. I have talked long enough because we're just over an hour. I'm not going to start that new game right now. We are using SKK's Fast Start mod, so when we do start that new playthrough series, we'll jump in after having just joined the Constellation, and we'll pick up with heading to the mast building, talking to John there about the artifact that we need to go to Cydonia to figure out more about. So that's the next time we hop on the game. That's where we'll hop on the game at, and we've got our load order set. We'll be able to jump right in. I'm not going to start this one with a big extensive Outpost build because I want to get the character going at least for a little bit first. Maybe at the end of that next stream we'll start doing that big Outpost build, but I do look forward to doing some big Outpost builds on a stream, so that way not just showing off the end product, which I'm always super proud of the builds that I post on video. I think that I do a good job of building some really cool builds sometimes. But it's not just like some wizard magic that I have. It's because of these mods. Like, it's because I'm familiar with the build order and I can quickly and efficiently find the specific assets that I'm thinking I want to find. I know where they're at. I grab them, I place them. But it's the look of those assets themselves. It's what those assets, what I can do with those assets in the game that I could not do before. There are shortcuts that you can take visually to make Outposts look more full than they actually are, and I'm really excited to show that off live as I'm actually doing it from the start to the finish, just picking a location, placing down a beacon, and then at the end of it having 10-15 different named NPC colonists living in it, 10-15 different Xenos that are based at it, and tons of all the amenities you need, all the food and water you could want, all the relaxation and recreational type things that one might expect. I'm kind of excited to be able to show all of that off. But before I say bye to everybody, you want to say anything specifically?
Hi.
You want to say hi?
Hi.
Britt's been chilling. Right on. And then the dog. There's Pon. The babies is asleep. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. I hope you all had a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed going through the load order with me. I hope it was beneficial. I hope maybe you learned about some mods that you hadn't learned or about before, that you weren't aware of before. And I hope you go check them out, because every mod that I had on that load order, I absolutely stand behind all of them. They're all fantastic. You should definitely all go check out those mods. Other than that, one last look at the chat. So my Xeno, what Xeno would I want to have with me, bro? It's a split tie between two. One, the Toad Face. You are absolutely right, Ghost, because Chubbs, the Toad Face, scaled down to like 0.45 for his size. You know what I'm saying? Like, love that little dude. Starfield's dog meat is what it is in my head. But the first one ever, my second Starfield video ever, which only talked about Xenomaster. It was not one where I talked about a couple other ones, and then I only talked about Xenomaster. I showed off catching On Crete, the first Xeno that you encounter in the game, one of those little roach buddies, and I named it McNuggets. And so McNuggets will also always have a special place in my heart too. But it's one of those two. It's either Chubbs, the Toad Face, scaled down smaller, or it's a OG McNuggets from Crete. It's one of those two for sure. By the time, bro, I'm telling you, I told Ghost, I was like, bro, people buy it. I don't think I told Ghost that. I told my wife that. I was like, bro, I swear, people will buy it. I promise you, people will buy it. I don't even want to get paid for it. I just want to be in it. That's literally it. Literally it. So, other aspiring creators, let me tell you as a creator, if somebody tells you, hey, I want to do this with you, but I'm only going to pay you with promotion, get the F out of there. Do not listen to them. Do not do that stuff. That is always a trap. Always. I'm telling you straight up. Anybody who tells you it's not, they are lying to you. It's a trap. But if I come to you and say, hey, I'm willing to do this for you to get paid and I want nothing from it other than the promotion, money, let's do this. That's all I'm saying about that. Bro, it's one of those. Oh, you have to know Thorigin. You got to put it. Oh, man. I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Chubbs the Toad Face. As much as I love McNuggets, I do love McNuggets. He's super cool. What are you doing, Pond? Coming up saying what's up, buddy? But probably Chubbs. For my favorite overall look, just having him walking around with my dude out in the field. Why not both? That's what I'm talking about, but that's why we get along. That's why we get along. I would have Chubbs and McNuggets, but if I had to choose one, it would probably be Chubbs for sure. But other than that, thank you guys again so much. Spark, bro, I don't know if I said what's up to you, bro. I think I did. But either way, Spark, everybody in the chat, thank you guys so much again. I know I don't really announce when I'm about to go live. I just kind of do it when I have the time. So the fact that you guys took your time to come out and say what's up really means a lot. Each and every one of you, all the people that don't have the ability to be in the chat or just don't want to be in the chat, you just like having this on in the background. I appreciate each of y'all. Thank y'all so much. Like I always say at the end of every video, hope y'all liked the video. If you did, I hope you press the like button. I hope you consider subscribing to the channel. It helps me out a lot when you do. As always, you can let me know down below in the comments what you think, and take care till next time.